Chapter 71. What a bummer. Upgrading can still fail. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After solving the problem of vegetables, the next problem is the defense of the villa. Some time ago, Chen Dong encountered a surprise attack, which made him feel a strong sense of crisis. He planned to take this opportunity to upgrade the automatic defense arms system before the meteor shower came. Fortunately, he had already obtained the laser defense device and automated Gatling gun. These two things may not be useful to others for the time being, but in Chen Dong's hands, it is just the icing on the cake. These two things must first be adapted to the automatic defense arms system, but at present, many survivors, even the police station, have not obtained them. Chen Dong is unique, because upgrading the automatic defense arms system requires a one-day cooling-off period. Chen Dong has not upgraded it before. After all, he kept going out to collect supplies to prevent the invasion of external survivors during this gap. As a result, a survivor really invaded. Although the automatic defense arms system did not enter the gap, it also made Chen Dong realize that the current automatic defense arms system is a bit outdated. The survivors now have hot weapons in their hands like mushrooms after rain. Pistols are already the most common weapons. Faced with such a situation, Chen Dong's automatic defense armament system is still equipped with crossbows and muskets, which is really magical. Moreover, Chen Dong found that even if there were foreign survivors invading, he was wearing combat uniforms, holding UMP-9 submachine guns, and Xia Anqi and Tian Xiaoyu were assisting with pistols on the side, so it seemed that the automatic defense armament system's ineffective defense method would not be needed. It must be upgraded. This matter cannot be delayed any longer. The group of survivors of Fox and Iron Arm were just wiped out by Chen Dong, and while the remaining power of deterrence is still there, it is just right to use it for upgrading. Chen Dong clicked on the smart assistant of the shelter. The shelter assistant equipped by the system emerged from Chen Dong's personal window, using a mechanized female voice, and asked crisply, "Dear Master, is there anything I can help you with?" Chen Dong clicked on the status bar of the barrier wall and clicked to add materials to upgrade. Is it necessary to inject materials to upgrade the barrier wall? Chen Dong continued to click, and then added S-alloy. The system issued a prompt, "Dear Master, S-alloy is a special material. If you need to upgrade the barrier wall, you will need a lot of S-alloy, and the upgrade may fail. Do you want to continue?" Chen Dong clicked, "Yes." Without hesitation. Materials required for upgrading the barrier wall, S-alloy, 249/50, upgrade failed. Chen Dong was stunned. He looked at the red box popped up by the system, which showed that the barrier wall upgrade failed, and his backpack was also missing 50 pieces of S-alloy. Hiss. Chen Dong took a breath. He couldn't believe that he could fail to upgrade the barrier wall. Chen Dong clicked on the shelter's smart assistant. "Assistant, what is the success rate of upgrading the barrier wall?" The smart assistant immediately replied, "Dear Master, I'm sorry that I can't publicize the upgrade success rate. If you fail, please try again." Chen Dong gritted his teeth and cursed the system profiteer. "You are amazing. S-alloy materials are in such short supply, and you still made an upgrade failure, not to mention the success rate. Did you learn this trick from a certain penguin company?" The smart assistant did not reply. After all, it is not really fully intelligent and can only reply to the set questions. Chen Dong clicked the upgrade again, not convinced. "I don't believe it. If it failed the first time, can it fail the second time? Come on, Dad, the upgrade of the barrier wall failed." Chen Dong looked at the S-alloy in his backpack, and 100 pieces were missing. This feeling is like a waste of money. Nothing happened, but it has already happened. Chen Dong pursed his lips. Now, the S-alloy in his hand can only support him to upgrade twice. If the upgrade fails, it will really be a waste of money. However, the barrier wall must be upgraded. The current barrier wall is just a solid wall mixed with cement and steel. Although it is hard, facing the meteorite shower, Chen Dong dare not guarantee whether it will be smashed. Chen Dong gritted his teeth again. How can a gambler always lose? The barrier wall has been upgraded successfully. The S-alloy wall has been upgraded. Success. Chen Dong couldn't help but nod his head vigorously, cursed a few times, and then exhaled. Never gamble again. The upgrade of the S-alloy wall was completed. The original barrier wall was covered with S-alloy inside and outside. It was not ostentatious under the sunlight, but absorbed the light without changing the original matte silver texture. Fortunately, everything was worth it. Chen Dong could only comfort himself in his heart. Afterwards, he asked the smart assistant, will there be a chance of failure in the future upgrade of S-alloy equipment? That the smart assistant still had that gentle mechanical female voice, saying, Dear Master, the S-alloy upgrade equipment will not fail. The reason why the barrier wall fails is because the resource consumption is huge, so there is a chance of failure. Of course, you can also upgrade through the guaranteed upgrade. Chen Dong was confused. I haven't heard of guaranteed upgrades before. What is the guaranteed upgrade? Then, the smart assistant listed the guaranteed materials for the upgrade of the barrier wall. Chen Dong exclaimed that it was a good job. The guaranteed upgrade of the barrier wall only required 120 S-alloys, and he spent 150 S-alloys to successfully upgrade. He lost so much that he couldn't even recognize the way home. Chen Dong, who knew that he was cheated by the system, could do nothing about it. Okay, I know, you go away. Intelligent assistant, okay, master. Chen Dong adjusted his frustrated state, and then continued to upgrade the automatic defense arms system. Compared with the barrier wall, this upgrade is much easier. Chen Dong clicked on the panel of the automatic defense arms system and clicked the upgrade button. Do you want to upgrade the automatic defense arms system? Yes. Please put the automatic defense arms system upgrade equipment. An ad panel popped up in the upgrade window, and a lot of equipment can be seen on it. All of them can be used in this upgrade. Chen Dong took a quick look at the equipment that would have the opportunity to continue to upgrade the automatic defense arms system in the future, and his heart was burning. If all these various equipment were equipped and upgraded on the automatic defense arms system, it would really be considered as impregnable. Chen Dong found the laser defense device and automated Gatling gun, and clicked to add these two pieces of equipment he already had. Upgrade. Automatic defense weapon system upgraded successfully. Cooling period countdown, 23 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds. Chapter 72 Unlimited Sanitary Pads. You are listening at novelfull.audio. There was no unexpected problem like the upgrade of the S-alloy wall. Chen Dong easily upgraded the automatic defense arms system successfully and began to enter the defense cooling period that he had known before. What he needed to do now was to wait for the automatic defense arms system to be upgraded and see the effect after the upgrade. Chen Dong took out his battle suit and tried to upgrade it with S-alloy, but he found that the upgrade of the battle suit was still incomplete. S-alloy is just one of the materials. If he wanted to upgrade, he needed other alloys. Chen Dong removed the S-alloy wrapping of the frosted silver battle suit and realized for the first time that this battle suit might accompany him for a longer time than he thought. If he used several alloys to upgrade this battle suit in the future, would it be possible to sit in the sky and into the sea? Chen Dong made a bold guess and felt a little fascinated. After the upgrade, the three began to move some supplies and furniture from the ground villa into the underground fortress, but for some reason, Tian Xiaoyu's movements were always a little unnatural. The expression on his face was also a little strange, as if he was trying his best to endure something. Chen Dong looked carefully for a long time, and suddenly exclaimed, Fuck, Xiaoyu, why are you bleeding? The voice fell, the air suddenly became quiet. What are you talking about? Tian Xiaoyu's face turned red, and she ran out directly. This is a bit embarrassing. Chen Dong touched his nose, and then realized what the other party was like. Women always have those days every month. The next day, the automatic defense armament system was upgraded. Chen Dong looked at the original crossbows and live fire guns, which were replaced with brand new laser guns and Gatling guns that could emit blue fire, and nodded with satisfaction. He even hoped that some blind survivors could take the initiative to come to the door and be free quality inspectors to test the power after the upgrade. Next, Chen Dong opened the email to see what unlimited supplies he got today. Sanitary pads. Chen Dong couldn't help but be speechless. In recent days, there are cosmetics for women such as foundation, concealer, and essence. Now there is a sanitary napkin. However, it is also a timely relief. Tian Xiaoyu just needs it. In the future, Xia and she will also need it. Selling some of it will benefit the majority of women. At the same time, some S-alloys were also sold, and mechanical flying claws, parachutes, special hemostatic drugs and other things were obtained. The early warning of the meteorite rain disaster has rapidly improved the material level of the survivors. Earlier, everyone was still risking their lives for a cold weapon and a little bread and milk. Now, high-level material boxes are emerging one after another. A team near the villa area recently collected a platinum-level material box. They actually drove an armored vehicle for them. It is definitely a huge improvement in strength. They tried to launch a surprise attack and force attack on other survivors, and excitedly found that this armored vehicle was simply like entering a no-man's land. The bullets hit the armored vehicle without even making a scratch. They rushed into other people's strongholds, ran rampant, and then slowly got off the car to finish the looting of supplies. This team began to show off their power. They also gave themselves a domineering name, Dongxing. Other teams were very afraid of this armored vehicle and did not want to provoke too much, but Dongxing was in its heyday, so how could it miss such a good opportunity for expansion? Dongxing issued a notice to nearby survivor teams, asking others to join its forces. Those who disobey will be suppressed with iron-blooded means. Some small teams with weak strength and shortage of supplies can only join or flee overnight. There are also some survivor teams who think they are not weak, and they directly tore up a notice from Dongxing and expressed their disapproval. But then, Dongxing drove an armored vehicle into their camp and suppressed them bloodily. Under such circumstances, Dongxing became famous. Chen Dong also received an invitation from Dongxing. Seeing the content of such a sudden letter, Chen Dong couldn't help laughing. It was more like a notice letter than a letter. In the letter, Dongxing described how rich its supplies were, how powerful its armored vehicles were, and how powerful its team members were. Finally, it asked Chen Dong to join. He said frankly that he did not want to fight Chen Dong. While tearing up the letter, Chen Dong thought, "Is it because I didn't show enough force? Why do these guys always come to provoke me?" Chen Dong reciprocated and wrote a letter in return. With a big stroke of the pen, he only wrote two big words, "Idiot." Then, Chen Dong asked the messenger waiting outside the wall to take the letter back. After receiving Chen Dong's reply letter, Dongxing boss Situ was furious and threw the objects on the desk in front of him directly to the ground. 10086, I'm going to hit you. Situ violently pulled the female secretary beside him and pressed her to kneel on the ground, trying to cool down, but he was so angry that he couldn't swallow his anger. He always thought that since his team had armored vehicles, they should have been on par with 10086. He even wanted to recruit 10,086 as his own. In the end, he rejected his offer. Does he think that his Dongxing can be compared with the scumbags like Fox and Iron Arm? They not only have guns, but also armored vehicles. 10086 dares to be so arrogant, it's really outrageous. A shudder. Situ, who had let off some steam, calmed down a little, and a thought emerged in his mind. He wants to eat the supplies of 10086, without any preparation. Situ pushed the female secretary away rudely and ordered, "Pass my words on, let the brothers get ready. After lunch, we will break through the wall of 10,086 and drag him out to parade." The female secretary wiped her mouth, stood up and respectfully left Situ's room. Then, she went down to convey the will to everyone in the team. After lunch, Situ walked out of the room, came to the stairs, and looked down at the minions who were looking at him in unison, full of pride. "Brothers, just now, 10086 rejected our invitation from Dongxing and called us idiots. Can you tolerate it?" The Dongxing henchman shouted loudly. "No." Situ said again, "Then should we swallow this breath?" The Dongxing henchmen blushed and shouted at the top of their voices, "No." Situ smiled. Then, with a fierce expression, he slapped the handrail of the stairs. "Pa! Then should we get back the place?" The Dongxing henchman burst out again. "Yes. Yes." Situ nodded, very satisfied with the performance of his brothers. He lowered his voice, burst out a hoarse but clearly audible voice, and asked, "Then, how do we get back the place?" The Dongxing henchmen showed their guns and raised them above their heads. "Kill 10,086. Kill 10086. Situ laughed. "Very good. Very energetic. Brothers, let's set off now. Whoever can chop off 10,086's head later will be rewarded with 20 kilograms of rice and mineral water." I mean what I say. Chapter 73 Tian Xiaoyu blocked the gun. Chen Dong got angry. You are listening at novelfull.audio. There must be a brave man behind a lot of money. The horses of Dongxing are full of fighting spirit and rub shoulders with each other. The armored vehicle could not seat so many people, so some people acted as infantry to clear the way, and all the troops rushed towards the villa where Chen Dong lived. At this time, Chen Dong was watering and fertilizing fruits and vegetables with Xia Anqi and Tian Xiaoyu on the rooftop terrace. They didn't notice that Dongxing's team was approaching them. Suddenly, Tian Xiaoyu heard the roar of the armored vehicle's engine. She stood up, rubbed her waist which was a little sore from being bent over watering water for a long time, and looked towards Dongxing. After taking a closer look, a group of people came over with guns and ammunition, and it was obvious that they were coming towards them. She quickly reminded Chen Dong that Dongxing seems to be preparing to attack us. Situ saw Chen Dong standing up in the armored vehicle and took out his pistol. This distance is enough for him to hit the target. Bang bang. Careful. Tian Xiaoyu pushed Chen Dong away suddenly, then, he clutched his abdomen and sat slumped on the ground. Tian Xiaoyu was shot. Situ's marksmanship is not bad, a direct hit from such a long distance. Chen Dong watched helplessly as Tian Xiaoyu was shot trying to protect himself, and his eyes were about to burst. Then, he quickly picked up Tian Xiaoyu, greeted Xia Anqi, and left the rooftop terrace with a bowed body. Running all the way back to the underground fortress, Chen Dong looked at Tian Xiaoyu who was bleeding profusely and felt confused. Xia Anqi said, "Put Xiaoyu on the bed and I will use my skills." Chen Dong carefully carried Tian Xiaoyu to the bed and said solemnly, "Anqi, it's up to you." Xia Anqi nodded and used the healing skill. His right hand flashed with white light, covering Tian Xiaoyu's muzzle. Then there was a soft drink, and the white light produced by the healing skill burst out even more intensely. The bullet in Tian Xiaoyu's body slowly came out. Tian Xiaoyu groaned. The healing skill is not immune to pain, so Tian Xiaoyu is now performing bomb disposal surgery without anesthesia. Xia Anqi wiped the sweat on Tian Xiaoyu's forehead with her left hand. Although she felt distressed, she still encouraged, "Xiaoyu, hold on, it will be taken out soon." "I believe you." Tian Xiaoyu's consciousness was a little blurry because of the pain, and she was relying on willpower to hold on. The bullet slowly came out of the flesh, and the damage began to heal. In the end, it was still as smooth as before, with not even a scar visible. Xia Anqi breathed a sigh of relief and wiped the sweat from his forehead. "Okay, take it out." When Tian Xiaoyu heard this, his eyes darkened and he fell asleep. Chen Dong was a little stunned. Xia Anqi quickly said, "It's not a big problem. It's just that I'm out of strength. I need to rest and recuperate. I'll wake up soon. Then I'll just replenish some energy." Chen Dong nodded. "Thank you for your hard work, Anqi." Xia Anqi smiled and said, "I am the doctor of our team, and this is what I should do. I'll just stay with Xiaoyu here. Go outside and see what those bastards from Dongxing are up to. Be careful when dealing with them." When Chen Dong heard about Dongxing, his face instantly turned cold. "I was just about to settle the score. These bastards made Xiaoyu almost die. I must settle this score with them." Xia Anqi frowned. "Don't be impulsive." Chen Dong laughed it off. "Anqi, when did I get impulsive? Don't worry, I will make all of them regret it. Offending me, Chen Dong, is something they will regret for the rest of their lives." After Chen Dong finished speaking, he stood up and walked out of the underground fortress, slowly walking out of the yard step by step. Chen Dong had already finished wearing his battle uniform. He held the critical strike Tang Dao in his hand, and the cold light reflected the dazzling light. At this time, Situ and his cavalrymen had already driven the armored vehicle to the large open space in front of Chen Dong's villa. Showing off their power, many horse boys whistled and looked at Chen Dong, who slowly walked out of the alloy fence with disdain on their faces. One person. Is this a personal hero movie? Also wearing full body armor like a superhero, can such garbage really withstand the impact of an armored vehicle? Everyone in Dongxing laughed. Chen Dong, wrapped in battle uniform, snorted softly. "You know, I've never been as angry as I am today. And you are the ones who make me so angry. What do you think I should do with you? A Dongxing Mazai who was not sitting in the armored car came out, looked at Chen Dong sideways, shook his legs and said, "Damn, I'm so scared, I want to find my mother." Ha ha ha, 10086, are you afraid that you don't understand the situation clearly? How dare you say that you are going to deal with us? We will leave you a whole body later. You should thank us. Chen Dong slowly raised the Tang Tang Dao and muttered to himself. Dismemberment? That's not bad. Before he finished speaking, Chen Dong suddenly blasted out like a cannonball and rushed towards the horse boy. The strong power of his legs made his explosion directly exceed the reaction speed of everyone in Dongxing. Silently, with a bang, the head fell to the ground. Chen Dong held the crit Tang Dao that was still clean and unstained with blood, kicked Ma Zai's head onto the armored vehicle, and said calmly, "I suddenly realized that what you said was a big deal. You are illiterate. I hope you will study hard in your next life." Situ looked at the bloody head on the armored vehicle window and trembled all over. The veteran Dongxing boss would not be scared by a head, he was trembling with anger. He really underestimated 10,086. In such a situation, he dared to kill his men in front of him. What a slap in the face. Situ shouted loudly in the armored vehicle, "Come on. Use your weapons to bite him." That the Dongxing men heard the order, recovered from the shock just now, and raised their pistols to shoot directly. Ding ding dang dang. Chen Dong even heard the taste of a ditty on his battle uniform. The bullets fired by the Dongxing men played in harmony with his battle uniform. Although the bullets failed to break the S-alloy battle uniform, in order to prove that they had tried hard, they still tried to make a sound on Chen Dong's battle uniform. Chen Dong strolled leisurely, slowly walked towards the Dongxing henchman outside the armored vehicle, and raised the critical Tang sword above his head. After a circular cut, a Dongxing henchman looked at the broken arm on the ground with hot blood, and wailed in pain. "Shut up!" Chen Dong said lightly, and stabbed straight down with the Tang sword in his hand. The Dongxing henchman with the broken arm and wailing instantly shut his mouth, because Chen Dong had pierced his throat. Chen Dong continued to walk towards the next target. However, he was hit by the armored vehicle. Situ sat in the driver's seat of the armored vehicle and stepped on the accelerator hard. Stinky, die. Before Chen Dong stood up, he was directly hit against the S-alloy wall. The powerful impact made blood flow from the corner of his mouth. Chapter 74, Failure and Escape. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The armored vehicle retreated, trying to continue the collision. Chen Dong would not sit still and wait for death. Taking advantage of the space left by the armored vehicle retreating, Chen Dong turned around and ran directly to the group of Dongxing henchmen. The henchmen fired desperately, but they could not delay Chen Dong for a second. After the bullets were used up, it was too late to throw away the pistol and run for his life. Chen Dong caught up with a henchman and punched him directly behind the head. The other party rolled his eyes and fell to the ground with his feet softened. Chen Dong grabbed his ankle and slowly dragged him to his side. This henchman still wanted to escape. Even if he was about to faint, he still had to crawl forward. Snap. The henchman screamed, and his left leg was broken. A low, metallic sneer came from under Chen Dong's combat uniform. Does it hurt? It hurts. Chen Dong continued to step hard, and the henchman's head shattered. Next one. Chen Dong raised his head and looked at the Dongxing henchmen who were already trembling with fear. Which one should I choose? Some Dongxing henchmen couldn't stand it anymore. Damn it, let's stop playing. Is he a gangster or am I a gangster? Then he ran away. Bang, bang, bang. The fleeing Dongxing henchman fell in a pool of blood in an instant. Chen Dong held the UMP-9 submachine gun in his hand and said slowly, "How can you run? You can't, huh?" Everyone in Dongxing shuddered with fear. This guy is a murderous devil. Situ regretted it a little, and his Adam's apple rolled as he sat in the driver's seat of the armored vehicle. Damn, this idiot, is he so crazy? The female secretary pushed her glasses beside Situ and asked worriedly, "Boss, should we retreat?" Situ slapped her hard in the face, and a red palm print immediately appeared on the female secretary's face. Retreat? There is no such word in the Dongxing dictionary. Either he dies or we die, it's that simple. If you keep talking nonsense, I'll chop you off. The female secretary bit her lip and dared not speak. Situ's eyes turned cold, and he adjusted the direction of the armored vehicle and continued to crash into Chen Dong. Situ held the steering wheel tightly, his eyes red, and stepped on the accelerator to the bottom. This amphibious armored vehicle weighing several tons can reach a speed of hundreds of kilometers per hour at full speed, even if Chen Dong was wearing a combat uniform. The impact force generated by the collision was fatal to him. He could only use his flexibility to keep moving around the armored vehicle and avoid the impact by taking advantage of the blind spot of the armored vehicle's turn. The Dongxing henchman looked at the side and turned around and ran away without hesitation. Chen Dong took advantage of the gap created by the armored vehicle's slow turn and fired at it with the UMP-9 submachine gun. The flesh-and-blood Dongxing henchman naturally couldn't escape. And a large number of them fell down in an instant, neither running nor fighting. The only way out is waiting for death. Situ was already furious. In order to hit Chen Dong to death, he began to use all means and did not distinguish between friend and foe. Chen Dong had just caught up with the fleeing Dongxing henchman when Situ rushed up in an armored vehicle. Chen Dong nimbly dodged the collision, but Situ directly hit his henchmen and made their brains flow. But Situ didn't care, he just wanted 10,086 to die. After he knocked his henchman down, he said to himself, "Don't worry, Bingzai, Big Brother will definitely kill 10,086 to avenge you. We will still be brothers in the next life." By the time Situ reacted, the large open space in the villa area was already full of his henchmen. Many of them were meat pastes that he had hit to death and then ran over. Chen Dong was still standing in front of him unharmed. "Boss, let's go down." At this time, several henchmen in the armored vehicle asked Situ to fight. There were not many people in the armored vehicle, only 5 or 6 people, except for Situ and the female secretary. The rest were the backbone of Dongxing. Facing the crowd's request to fight, Situ nodded and handed over a few grenades. "Along, I believe in you, go." Along nodded heavily, then ran down the armored vehicle with his brothers. They actually had bulletproof vests and bulletproof helmets. This kind of supplies is not yet mastered by Chen Dong. It seems that Dongxing still has some foundation. Along and his men still shot with pistols, but it was still useless. After the bullets were used up, they could only take out cold weapons, a sharp machete. Chen Dong took back the UMP-9 submachine gun and took out the critical Tang sword again. He enjoyed the feeling of seeing blood with every knife. Compared with bullets killing enemies, the fight with cold weapons made his blood boil more. Along and others moved. He directly picked up the machete and slashed at Chen Dong, with a fierce momentum. Facing attacks from several directions, Chen Dong did not panic. He faced the machete directly and stabbed without any fighting skills. Puff. The critical hit Tang Dao pierced into Along's abdomen. Then, Chen Dong twisted the Tang Dao and pulled it out quickly. Along fell straight down. Then, Chen Dong slashed the throats of others or stabbed them in the heart. The last backbone of Dongxing fell down. Before dying, a man said, "Relying on this set of armor, count, ability." Chen Dong, who had not said a word during the battle, smiled faintly after hearing the question. "Ability? I can own this set of combat uniforms, which is my ability. I don't use the combat uniforms to fight with you. Do you think I'm stupid?" This henchman's eyes widened, and he wanted to speak, but Chen Dong thought he was too noisy, so he stepped on his trachea and died. The armored vehicle turned around and left with a bang. Chen Dong sneered, took out the Jetta, got in the driver's seat and chased after him. "Run. Can you run away? Dongxing is gone. If he doesn't run at this time, he is a fool." Situ stepped on the accelerator desperately, trying to get rid of Chen Dong, but Chen Dong was driving a car, and the speed limit was higher than that of the armored vehicle. It was simply a fantasy for him to get rid of Chen Dong. However, Chen Dong was not in a hurry, but just followed the armored vehicle at a low speed. He wanted to see where Situ could escape. Situ regretted it now. Why did he provoke 10,086 when there were so many other people to provoke? There were so many lessons from the past, but he just didn't learn from them. Flop. Situ drove the armored vehicle while slapping the steering wheel. He thought this car was his support, but it turned out to be a tool for escape. The heavy car body even became a burden and a nuisance. Situ didn't know who the woman he shot was, but he thought that she must be very important to 10086, otherwise, it would be impossible for her to kill without saying a word after coming out of the S-alloy wall. He knew that he and 10,086 had no room for maneuver. so he could only run down. The armored vehicle drove into the highway in the zombie area. Situ wanted to take a gamble, and 10,086 gave up chasing because he was afraid of the zombies, but when he saw 10,086 driving into the zombie area without hesitation, he felt a little cold in his heart. What's more terrible is that the fuel gauge of the armored vehicle showed that the fuel in the tank was almost consumed. Chapter 75 Doomsday Live Broadcast. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Situ felt agitated. It's like a dog. It's 80 or 90 gas per 100 kilometers, I'll drive you black. Situ didn't have that much diesel, and there was no way he could afford the fuel consumption of this amphibious armored vehicle. Therefore, this is why he has always chosen to dominate and plunder supplies around the villa area. In areas that are too far away, he does not have enough diesel to support the movement of armored vehicles. The armored vehicle stopped, draining the last drop of fuel in its tank. Chen Dong slowly stopped the car, got out, and walked towards the door of the armored vehicle. Ba, ba, ba. Chen Dong took out the saw and sharpened it slowly. He has plenty of time. Boom. Suddenly, there was a burst of gunfire from the armored vehicle. Chen Dong did not stop what he was doing and muttered to himself, did he commit suicide? But then the armored vehicle door opened on its own. The female secretary's face was covered in blood. She dragged the dead Situ and crawled out with a flattering smile on her face. I've already killed Situ, can you give me a chance to spare my life? I'll treat you like a dog and a toy, okay? Chen Dong smiled lightly. Okay, I'll spare your life. Chen Dong took away the armored vehicle. The female secretary with a blank face was left behind, as well as the zombies that were gradually approaching following the smell of blood. After a group of people like Fox, Iron Arm, and Dongxing got involved, the villa area returned to its original state. Only Chen Dong, Xia Anqi and Tian Xiaoyu are left living here. Originally, after Fox, Iron Arm and others were eliminated by Chen Dong, there were other teams of various sizes. However, Dongxing used armored vehicles to intimidate and induce, and the team that did not want to be integrated had no choice but to escape from the villa area. Otherwise, it is a dead end. Then, Dongxing launched an attack on Chen Dong, but ended up with his entire army wiped out. The villa area is naturally quite empty. After destroying Dongxing, the most valuable supplies were naturally the armored vehicle, several sets of body armor and bulletproof helmets. After returning to the villa, Chen Dong gave Xia Anqi and Tian Xiaoyu a set of body armor and helmets. He has his own battle uniform and is not keen on these things. From the beginning, he was thinking about preparing for Xia Anqi and Tian Xiaoyu. Although Xia Anqi and Tian Xiaoyu have upgraded their levels and strengthened their physical fitness, they are still flesh and blood, not to mention that Chen Dong has a full coverage battle uniform. Chen Dong was eager to find some protective equipment for the two of them. It's a pity that protective equipment is too scarce and I have never been able to collect it. Just like this time, Tian Xiaoyu was injured accidentally, which fully proved the importance of having protective equipment. Fortunately, this time they obtained enough body armor and bulletproof helmets from Dongxing, and Xia Anqi and Tian Xiaoyu also had a little more protection. The two of them put on bulletproof vests and bulletproof helmets. The fitting clothes did not look bulky on them, but were full of wild beauty. Xia Anqi walked around in front of Chen Dong, leaned over slightly, looked at Chen Dong sideways, and asked expectantly, "Does it look good?" Tian Xiaoyu, who was also neatly dressed in a bulletproof vest and bulletproof helmet, quietly walked up to behind Xia Anqi, clasping his hands behind his back and looking at Chen Dong with piercing eyes. Looking at the two beautiful women in front of him, Chen Dong's eyes flickered slightly, facing their fiery gazes. Chen Dong smiled casually. It looks good, how could it not look good? If you go to the live broadcast, you will definitely have a bunch of old guys shouting 666 and giving you rockets. Xia Anqi smiled happily at first, then curled her lips and dismissed it. I don't want to broadcast it live, I'll just show it to you. Tian Xiaoyu also echoed, I'm not interested in the live broadcast. I would rather show it to you, Chen Dong, than to strangers. Chen Dong burst out laughing at what Xia Anqi and Tian Xiaoyu said. You too, how come you can only show me the bulletproof vests and helmets you wear? You are not allowed to wear them to collect supplies, you two fools. Then Chen Dong held his chin in his hand and suddenly changed the topic. However, the system recently launched a live broadcast window, which is quite lively. Xia Anqi and Tian Xiaoyu, who originally wanted to refute Chen Dong, expressed their opinions after hearing Chen Dong talk about the recent live broadcast. Recently, they have also paid attention to the live broadcast platform opened by the system for survivors. Xia Anqi shook her head. I don't know the significance of the system opening this live broadcast platform. Is it a channel for survivors to vent in a doomsday world? However, most of the live broadcasters are just chatting with nothing to do, and there are even so many vulgar contents. It's really I don't know what the point of watching these live broadcasts is. Tian Xiaoyu smiled and said, Anqi, the live broadcast of the apocalyptic world is of course not as interesting as the live broadcasts we watched before. There are all new things. I think the system may want the survivors to establish a closer communication connection. After all, watching the barrage and talking during the live broadcast, the sense of distance is indeed not that heavy. Chen Dong listened to Xia Anqi and Tian Xiaoyu talking, and opened the live broadcast channel himself. This live broadcast channel does not distinguish between sections and has no illegal restrictions. It feels more like the darknet platform Chen Dong heard about when he was surfing the internet before. The name of this live broadcast channel is also very simple. It is called Doomsday Live, precisely because there is no orderly maintenance. The live broadcast content here is unscrupulous. There are vulgar live broadcasts of Russian roulette, bloody and cruel live dissections of zombies, and normal and warm homely chats. Chen Dong scrolled the page and did not watch the live broadcasts that should have been restricted, but was attracted by two girls, although the two girls in the live broadcasts looked ordinary. They could not hide the sunshine and vitality that naturally radiated from them. At this time, they were introducing their teen's shelter in the live broadcast room. Xia Anqi and Tian Xiaoyu heard the woman's voice coming from the live broadcast room, and they closed their mouths and pricked up their ears. Then they came to Chen Dong. Xia Anqi pretended to be angry and said to Chen Dong, Okay, you actually watched the beauty live broadcast behind Xiaoyu and me, are we not good looking? Chen Dong smiled bitterly, showed the live broadcast content to the two, and looked helpless. What are you thinking about? These two girls are not as good looking as you and Xiaoyu. I'm just curious about their live broadcast content. Tian Xiaoyu laughed. Chen Dong, when did you learn to be so smooth talking? I can't tell. Chen Dong was confused by the joint questioning of the two. I'm telling the truth. Come on, stop talking nonsense and come and watch the live broadcast with me. Chapter 76, Reward Gifts, Recruit People Without Any Threshold. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chen Dong pulled Xia Anqi and Tian Xiaoyu to sit beside him and watched the live broadcast together. In the live broadcast room, the two girls were enthusiastically introducing their refuge to the viewers who came to the live broadcast room to watch the live broadcast. One of the girls, wearing glasses and looking like an artistic youth, said to the camera, Fellow survivors, my name is Huan, and this is my sister Sissy next to me. In tonight's live broadcast room, the two of us will fight for let's introduce our team's new shelter. Now we are sitting on the sofa in the underground fortress. Look at the size of our underground fortress. Then, Huan circled his live broadcast perspective around the entire underground fortress, allowing the audience in the live broadcast room to see clearly. It must be said that this underground fortress is very large. Chen Dong even felt that it was bigger than the underground fortress they built under the villa. I don't know where to find such a large construction foundation, however. The decoration of this underground fortress is not particular. It is a rough house with a strong industrial style. The alloy walls are exposed and there are no tiles on the floor. Huan walked to broadcast the live broadcast, and could even see the dust rising clearly. There are not a few people living in this underground fortress, unlike Chen Dong and others, who can live in the same room relatively comfortably. At most Xia Anqi and Tian Xiaoyu live together. The scene under the Huan live broadcast camera is like the dormitory when Chen Dong was studying. 4 or 5 bunk beds, a not too big room, housed 8 to 10 survivors. Huan walked into a room and asked several big men who were eating food to say hello to the live broadcast room. Several big men were chewing food in their mouths. Although they were reluctant, they still waved perfunctorily to the audience in the live broadcast room. Then, he continued to pick up his lunchbox and wolfed it down. The audience in the live broadcast room watched carefully. These big men eat a lot of food, including meat, eggs and rice. Is the food in this underground fortress so good? Many survivors spoke in the comment area of the live broadcast room and wanted to ask what are the requirements for joining their shelter. Number 563563, Baby Huan, what are you talking about? My brother wants to join your shelter. Do you have any requirements? Number 856445, damn it, the last comment was too greasy. I vomited. Number 235557, Huan, I am very interested in your underground fortress. I am a single survivor. Can I join you? Number 754035, I am also a single survivor. I can't afford to build an underground fortress by myself. Can I come and help? It's not free food and drink, I can work. The barrage was very lively, and many people even showed strong interest in joining their underground fortress. This is exactly the purpose of Huan. After looking at it for a few times, Huan said with a smile, I just looked at everyone's barrage. Many people are asking whether we need more people in the underground fortress here and what are the conditions. Here, I will give you. Please explain. Our underground fortress still has a lot of space and 4 or 5 rooms, so at least it can accommodate dozens of people. In addition, our team does not require entry barriers. As long as you have the ability to work, we are very welcome. Here, as long as everyone works hard together to build, everyone will eat together. Chen Dong frowned slightly as he listened. Why does this model sound so familiar? However, he didn't think much about it and could only hide his thoughts in his heart. After Huan finished explaining, a large number of barrages emerged. Many survivors signed up to join their shelter. There are also many people who are shopping for gifts, such as a bottle of water and a piece of bread, trying to stand out among the many competitors. My sister Cece, who followed Huan and was always paying attention to the live broadcast room, saw many gifts sent by survivors and read out the names of those people with a smile on her face. Thank you. Thank you very much for the bucket of pure water sent by. I want to join your refuge. The boss is great and the boss is in good health. Okay, we have seen the news. You can send us a private message when the time comes. That there are also some live broadcast room names that people are embarrassed to speak. Sisai paused and read out as usual. And this one, thank you, Huan Shan, I want them all. I want them all, for the 10 sausages. The gift of Doomsday live broadcast is still a little different from the previous world, straight from the backpack, real supplies. Huan and Cece's live broadcast room directly topped the list of live broadcast popularity on this night. A large number of survivors who did not have the ability to build underground fortresses to deal with the meteorite rain struggled to join their shelters, just for a chance of survival. According to system data, the city where Chen Dong is located has over 100,000 people. The villa area is located in the suburbs, so it seems to be deserted, but in fact, the sheriff, as well as some other large teams, were stationed in densely populated areas, where it was very lively. That is to say, in this situation, there are actually many lone wolf survivors. They do not have the ability to build underground fortresses to deal with meteorite rain. The countdown to death is approaching, and you have to do everything you can to survive. Huan and Sisai went live that night and admitted that there were no conditions required to join their underground fortress. If I had to talk about the conditions, it would be to have the ability to work and not be disabled. Such conditions, compared with other teams, have no threshold at all. The sheriff's police station, other large teams, and any team with an underground fortress, if you want to join them, you must first pay expensive supplies as a stepping stone. After entering, distribution is based on work, and the more you work, the more you get. At the same time, a points mechanism is established. Every time the survivors go out to collect supplies, whoever collects more will be counted into the points. After reaching a certain number, the internal level will be upgraded and enjoy a better environment and supplies. Compared with the two, Huan and her team's shelter is simply heaven. Naturally, it didn't take long for it to be full of survivors. In terms of quantity, it has become a presence that can be compared with those first-line large teams in the police station, but Chen Dong is more optimistic about the model of those large teams in the police station. In the early stage of a team's establishment, it can be transitioned by equal distribution, but it is by no means a wise choice, obviously. The police station has suffered losses before, so it was changed to a points system, and the more you work, the more you get. As long as everyone joins, there is something to eat, but Zhang San did more, Li Si did less, and in the end they had the same food. It is very dangerous to continue on this detour. The meteor shower is coming. Once the survivors cause chaos due to uneven distribution of supplies, unless there is a team with strong force like the police station, they can suppress it. Otherwise, it will only cause the entire team to fall into chaos or even fall apart. Obviously, Huan and her team, who were originally a small team, do not have such emergency response capabilities. It is not the lack of resources that is worrying, but the inequality. Huan and her team will get into trouble sooner or later if they do it all at once. Chapter 77 Internal Strife. I will be the boss. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Chen Dong watched Huan's live broadcast again, the live broadcast room was already in chaos. Huan and Cici had no time to pay attention to the live broadcast, and the barrage was also a large group of people who didn't know the truth. What's going on? Number 546347, what happened? I just arrived. Is there anyone who knows the situation who can tell me? Number 875484, I don't know, I just got here. Number 648345, well, I just saw something. Huan had an argument with an old man in the shelter. It seemed that they were saying that they didn't have enough food, or that they were not full, or something. Anyway, they started arguing. Number 673257, this is not like a simple quarrel. Look, it's all a mess. They are fighting in groups. This is the rhythm of a fight. Number 754734, look, Huan is coming over. It seems to be done. These people are not fighting anymore. Huan walked up to the camera in the live broadcast room with a very embarrassed expression and kept apologizing. I'm really sorry for letting you see such an embarrassing scene in the live broadcast room. The problem has been solved, so you don't have to worry. Seeing Huan and Cici sitting back in front of the live broadcast camera, the audience in the live broadcast room asked questions one after another. Number 854845, Huan, what happened to you just now? Why did a group of people suddenly make such a fuss? Number 675953, did you quarrel just now because of the uneven distribution of supplies? Number 845873, damn it, you just looked red-eyed and ready to draw your gun, right? The big guy who started the trouble must be new here. I haven't seen him before. He is also the same as the big brother who greeted us last time. Conflict. Huan looked at the comments with a bitter expression. Actually, it's not a big problem. With so many survivors pouring into our shelter all at once, the supplies we have in reserve can't keep up with the consumption. Some people don't have enough to eat and are a little impulsive. This is quite normal. But don't worry, water friends, we will solve it soon. When Chen Dong heard this, he sneered. Oh, it would be nice if it were so easy to solve. Many people continued to comment in the live broadcast room. Number 743756, as long as it's okay, it'll be okay. Number 623575, however, I think your team's model is not quite right. After all, there are historical cases that can be used for reference. Number 234657, ahem, I'm from the police station, so I actually have a say. We used to have this model before, but when it got bigger and bigger, there were too many people fishing in troubled waters and waiting to die. Later, the sheriff simply threw these people out of the stronghold and left them to fend for themselves. They established a points system and distribution according to work. Seriously, Huan, you should change the system quickly before the team becomes bigger. Number 456342, yes, equal distribution is too unreliable. While the survivors in your team have not yet established a foothold, quickly change your system. If you don't want to stay, just let them go. It's not too big. Loss. Number 526334, yes, so as not to become a chronic disease in the future. Huan read the comments carefully, sighed, and regained her composure. I have seen everyone's suggestions and thought about them seriously. Indeed, we have taken too big a step forward. We will also reform the team's allocation model in the future and broadcast it live for everyone to watch. When the time comes, you can definitely please pay more attention. At this time, there are also audience reminders. Number 453673, that stupid big guy who was about to fight just now, I always feel that he is restless, you should be careful. Number 735474, I think this restless factor should be eliminated early, like a time bomb. Number 865856, yes. I think so too. However, Huan smiled disapprovingly at this suggestion. You don't have to be too nervous. He's actually not a bad person. It's understandable that he's a newbie and gets upset when he doesn't have enough to eat. After all, we promised to ensure that everyone has enough to eat. Other team members also went to comfort him just now. Aren't you at ease now? Hee. As Huan was talking, there was a loud noise behind her, then gunfire rang out. In the underground fortress, a wave of new survivors broke away from the team, raised their pistols, and shot at others. Many people were caught off guard and killed without even entering a state of alert. All the old members of Huan's team have fallen. The leader is none other than the unreliable new survivor mentioned in the comments section. That strong man. At this time, he was walking towards Huan and Qianqi with a pistol. Huan wanted to take out the pistol from her backpack, but the strong man put the gun to her head. If I were you, I wouldn't move. Huan and Cici could only submit obediently. They had their hands tied behind their backs and looked desperate. All of this was recorded live, everyone in the audience saw it. Although Huan became a prisoner, she still remained calm and asked, Dashan, why are you doing this? Has our team treated you badly in the past 2 days? The strong man named Dashan laughed. What do you think? Isn't it unfair? Huan is puzzled. Is there any? When Dashan heard this, he grabbed Huan's neck and said harshly, why not? I have worked the hardest in the past 2 days. 1/3 of the wood in the warehouse moved today was I moved it. The result is that I can't even eat enough. Is this called unfair treatment? Huan was speechless. This, I don't know. Dashan cursed, you know what? The group of brothers behind me all came here because of their fame, but ended up doing the hardest and most tiring work and eating the least food. You are still broadcasting live at this time. Fuck. Huan bit her lip lightly and said guiltily, I'm sorry, I will change the allocation mode. Change? It's too late. Let me be the boss this time. Dashan laughed loudly, his eyes flashing dangerously. Huan wanted to step back, but Dashan grabbed her neck tightly. She panicked. Dashan, what do you want to do? Dashan looked at the camera in the live broadcast room. Some comments in the live broadcast room were criticizing him, but he ignored them. What are you doing? Turn on the live broadcast. Of course it's a live broadcast. It's just a good time to earn some supplies. Then, de Shanhua hurriedly adjusted the angle of the live broadcast camera. Huan cried and begged, don't touch my sister. Dashan ignored it and sneered, are you teaching me how to do things? Chapter 78 Buying Concrete, Being Ignored. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The popularity of the live broadcast room has increased. Deshaun was sweating profusely and worked even harder when he saw the soaring gifts. Many people also left the live broadcast room, such as Chen Dong, with 2 beautiful girls by his side. He wasn't horny enough to look at anyone else. Instead, the desperate and shrill cries made him feel a little uncomfortable. Chen Dong turned off the live broadcast, lit a cigarette, looked up and sighed. People. Chen Dong is preparing to upgrade the intermediate underground fortress. This was something he decided after thinking for a long time. While eating dinner, Xianqi served Chen Dong a bowl of rice and casually took a mouthful of it. Chen Dong, where should we move the vegetables we grow when the meteorite rain comes? Chen Dong chewed the rice and said without thinking, of course we will move to the underground fortress. Xianqi frowned and sighed. However, our underground fortress simply does not have so much open space to place fruits and vegetables. And, most importantly, how to enable fruits and vegetables to carry out photosynthesis. Chen Dong said, photosynthesis is not difficult to solve, and the reserve of fluorescent lamps is sufficient. However, I didn't pay much attention to the location. Now that these fruits and vegetables have grown up, they do take up a lot of space. The unlimited supplies Chen Dong got yesterday happened to be fluorescent lamps, so he didn't need to worry about photosynthesis problems in growing fruits and vegetables. If one fluorescent lamp is not enough, use a few more, but venue is a big problem. Today, the fruits and vegetables grown by Chen Dong and others have taken up the yard and rooftop terrace. It is impossible to move them all into the underground fortress. After all, the underground fortress is only the size of a villa. Excluding the living area, there isn't much space left at all. Tian Xiaoyu on the side asked, Chen Dong, can the underground fortress be upgraded? Chen Dong nodded, put down his bowl and chopsticks, put his hands on his chin, and said thoughtfully, yes, but upgrading the intermediate underground fortress requires a lot of concrete, and we don't have that much on hand. If you slowly scan the goods on the trading platform, it's hard to say whether you can upgrade when the meteorite rain comes. Tian Xiaoyu curled her hair and thought hard, and then an idea flashed. Chen Dong, how about we find the team to trade? As far as I know, there are many large teams that reserve a large amount of materials for trading. Some are stocking steel and some are lumber. We will patiently search in the chat channel. Maybe there will be a team that reserves a large amount of concrete. Chen Dong blinked, thought for a moment and nodded. It's feasible. This is an opportunity. Otherwise, it would be a pity if the fruits and vegetables we grow were wasted because of a meteorite rain. Tian Xiaoyu deeply agreed. Of course. We have worked so hard to grow the fruits and vegetables for so many days. It would be a shame if they were just gone. I happen to know that there is a team that seems to be trading concrete to foreign countries. Do you want to know more about it? Certainly. Chen Dong nodded with a smile and said, okay, Xiaoyu, how do you know which team has concrete? I don't even know. Tian Xiaoyu smiled sweetly, a little embarrassed. Well, I actually knew this team by accident. They were selling lipstick on the chat platform before, and I learned by the way that they had a large amount of concrete for sale at the same time. Xianqi on the side also suddenly realized. Ah. Xiaoyu, are the small gold bars you bought last time the ones they sold? Tian Xiaoyu smiled slightly. Yes, they are their team supplies. And Qi, are they okay for use? Xianqi nodded wildly. It's really easy to use. I used to buy this lipstick a lot in the old world. It's super moisturizing and goes on instantly. The two women quickly discussed lipstick at the dinner table with great interest. Chen Dong smiled bitterly. Hey, we are discussing upgrading the intermediate underground fortress. Why did you go to lipstick? But Xianqi and Tian Xiaoyu turned a deaf ear and immersed themselves in it. Chen Dong couldn't get a word in and shook his head helplessly. I finished my meal in silence and cleared away the dishes. Chen Dong has always wanted to upgrade the intermediate underground fortress, but he just suffered from not having enough upgrade materials. Unexpectedly, he learned from Tian Xiaoyu that there was information about a team hoarding concrete in large quantities. This naturally solidified his idea of upgrading the intermediate underground fortress. Chen Dong opened the chat channel and looked for the team Tian Xiaoyu mentioned, number 347343, Madefac. It costs 5,000 pieces of concrete to upgrade the intermediate underground fortress. Where can I find it? The trading platform displays only scattered goods, which is of no use at all. Number 573353, what the hell? Are you going to upgrade the intermediate fortress? Number 374343, I am the leader of the drug lord team. Do you think we have the ability to upgrade the intermediate underground fortress? Drug lords are a new large team. The police station is the only large-scale team, followed by the second-tier team. Drug lords occupy a position and are not unpowerful. number 845634, damn it, boss 666, number 678965, I met the real person. Number 845534, our team has just built a basic underground fortress. Hey, it really can't be compared with a large team. Number 745343, Venomous Snake, the leader of the drug lord. We have a lot of concrete here. Are you interested? I am Lu Neng, the leader of the Saturn Ring team. Saturn Ring is also a large second-tier team. It is rumored that the team has 2 giant bulldozers. The most famous achievement is to flatten a hostile force overnight. Since then, it has consolidated its position as a second-tier team. Seeing the speech of the leader of Saturn Ring, Chen Dong was overjoyed. It is estimated that the large team that Tian Xiaoyu mentioned is this Saturn Ring. After seeing the news, the leader of the drug lord team, Viper, also spoke happily. Lu Neng, I have heard of you. If you have a lot of concrete, we can talk about it, private chat. Lu Neng also replied. Of course, I can ensure that the reserve of concrete is sufficient. I, Saturn Ring, will not destroy my own signboard. Business still requires integrity. Viper, I have already privately chatted with you, let's chat privately. The leaders of the 2 large teams exited the chat channel and had a private chat. Chen Dong also silently closed the chat channel, clicked on Lu Neng's personal information, and entered the private chat window. Hello, Mr. Lu Neng, I am interested in buying a large amount of concrete. Can we talk? However, after the message was sent, it was like a stone sinking into the sea, and there was no response for a long time. Huh? No reply to me? Chen Dong frowned slightly. What the hell is going on? Just now, facing the leader of the drug lord team, Lu Neng was very enthusiastic. It must be said that Chen Dong felt a little uncomfortable. However, he did need to buy a large amount of concrete to upgrade the intermediate underground fortress, so he didn't care too much. Wait a little longer. Chapter 79. There is everything in the dream. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just when Chen Dong was bored and buying concrete on the trading platform, Lu Neng finally replied, the famous 10,086 wants concrete? I have plenty here, how much do you want? Just now, Chen Dong had collected 500 pieces of concrete, there is still 4,500 pieces to upgrade the intermediate underground fortress. I want to exchange 4,500 pieces of concrete, the price is negotiable. Lu Neng quickly sent a message, 4,500 pieces, no big deal. 10086, you want to build an intermediate underground fortress? Huh, it seems that S-Alloy made you a lot of money last time. Chen Dong didn't understand why Lu Neng talked about the previous things, he just wanted to trade quickly now, so he didn't take up the topic. Let's get straight to the point, you name a price, I'm in a hurry. Lu Neng then quoted a price, which made Chen Dong look cold. I don't want more, one price, 150 pieces of S-Alloy. After Chen Dong's monopoly, the price of S-Alloy changed again, and it was already a precious metal with a sky-high price. Although Chen Dong had hoarded a lot of S-Alloys at the beginning, he had almost used them. Now Lu Neng asked for 150 S-Alloys, which was simply a fantasy. If S-Alloys were used as exchange materials, Chen Dong's psychological expectation would be 50 yuan, any price higher than this would be absolutely outrageous. This Lu Neng was clearly a ripoff, knowing that Chen Dong wanted to upgrade the intermediate underground fortress, and that he couldn't collect enough concrete on the trading platform in a short time, he asked for a sky-high price. Chen Dong narrowed his eyes slightly and sent a message. Okay, then it's a deal. Lu Neng was slightly stunned, somewhat unexpected. Are you sure? Chen Dong couldn't help but send a voice message. Tonight at 3 o'clock, you lie on the bed. At that time, let alone 150 S-Alloys, even 250 will rush to trade with you. Lu Neng mocked directly after listening to the voice message. I thought you were 10086, how capable are you? In the end, you couldn't even find 150 pieces of S-Alloy. They say there is no false person under a great reputation, I think you are just a straw bag. Chen Dong laughed, fuck, I was fooled by this Lu Neng. The other party didn't even think about selling to him. He sent an emoticon package of international hand gestures, and then closed the private chat window. After receiving the emoticon package, Lu Ning was not angry. Sitting on the leather sofa, he touched his shiny bald head and smiled contemptuously. On the contrary, he let out a sigh of relief and was quite happy. The middle-aged man next to him couldn't help but say, "Boss, why don't we sell concrete to 10,086? Didn't we just sell 50s alloys to the drug lord team? Why are we arguing with 10,086? Lu Ning slapped his thigh, squinted at the man next to him, and said dissatisfiedly, "Guankuan, you blockhead, what can I say to you? Who is 10,086? He was the idiot who monopolized S alloy before, and we were also severely cheated by him for a lot of materials. I won't sell concrete to him." The middle-aged man named Guankuan, who is actually the steward of the Saturn Ring team, said earnestly, "Boss, we are doing business. It's not appropriate to stop doing it during the holidays." Lu Ning laughed. "Guankuan, you are really a shrew. Now there are more and more teams who want to upgrade the intermediate underground fortress, and you are still worried that there will be no buyers. Our concrete is in short supply, you are afraid of nothing. I won't sell it to 10,086, there are a lot of people lining up." Guankuan slapped his head. "It seems so, boss, you are such a clever little ghost." Lu Ning's mouth corners slightly raised when he heard the flattery, but he said, "Get lost. I tell you, we have a feud with 10086, you should also inform the brothers below, don't give him a good face." Guankuan nodded respectfully after hearing this. "Okay, I will listen to the boss, I will call the brothers below later." Chen Dong certainly didn't know that he had a feud with the Saturn Ring team because of the S alloy, which led to the failure of buying concrete, but even if he knew, if he was given another choice, he would still hit the other party hard. Now, he can only find the next seller who has concrete. The most uncomfortable thing in the world is not facing a lot of supplies and not being able to buy or exchange, but that although you are not short of money, you can't buy enough supplies. This is Chen Dong's dilemma. He didn't know, in addition to the Saturn Ring, what other team could provide a lot of concrete. Even if he collected another 500 pieces of concrete on the trading platform, he still needed 4,000 pieces to upgrade the intermediate underground fortress. It was still a huge number. Chen Dong and the other two sat on the sofa in the living room of the villa, looking helpless. They racked their brains but couldn't come up with an effective solution. They could only collect concrete. On the trading platform, while asking other teams if they had a large amount of concrete, Xia Anqi leaned lazily on the sofa, raised her head and sighed, and raised her hands above her head. "Ah! Why can't I find any team with a large amount of concrete except for the Saturn Rings? It's so difficult." Tian Xiaoyu smiled and rubbed Xia Anqi's hair, saying, "Hey, Anqi, don't be depressed, we still have time. The meteor shower will not come for another week, maybe there will be a turnaround by then. The worst-case scenario is to abandon these fruits and vegetables and start over. It's no big deal." Chen Dong quietly locked his eyes on the two girls. After spending some time together, the two girls have become very close friends. They were originally dressed relatively coolly and often played around, so it was inevitable that some parts were looming. For Chen Dong, it was a feast for the eyes. Chen Dong also felt that his concentration was declining day by day, so, several times, he took advantage of Tian Xiaoyu falling asleep at night, quietly opened Xia Anqi's door with the spare key, and did some unspeakable things. But recently, the relationship between him and Tian Xiaoyu has been a little subtle and awkward. Chapter 80 Unlimited Diesel, Find a Seller. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The bathroom in the bedroom was broken. If the three of them wanted to take a shower, they could only use the public washroom outside. As usual, Chen Dong came over with a change of clothes, but there are people inside. Chen Dong put the bath towel on his shoulders and was about to walk back. At this moment, he saw some clothes placed outside the bathroom. Chen Dong didn't think much, walked forward, picked it up casually, and wanted to take it to the washing machine on the balcony. These should be the dirty clothes that were washed out today. However, feeling the silky smoothness of the clothes, he felt something was not right. It doesn't seem to have the sticky feeling of dirty clothes after sweating, but rather like clean clothes. Chen Dong subconsciously brought the clothes to his nose and smelled it. There was a faint lavender scent of laundry detergent on the clothes. They looked like clean clothes. That's right. Just then, the door opened. Tian Xiaoyu walked out just wrapped in a bath towel. The bath towel was not considered thick, and was even a little thin. It could barely cover half of Tian Xiaoyu's thighs. Tian Xiaoyu stared blankly at Chen Dong, watching him holding the clothes he was going to wear later and putting them in front of his nose to smell them. The two looked at each other, and the situation was awkward for a while. Chen Dong didn't know what to say. In this scene, he looked like those idiots in movies who hide and sneak around the heroine in the shower grass. Even if you jump into the Yellow River, you won't be able to clean yourself. Chen Dong wailed in his heart. All he could do was pass the clothes over. Ahem, that, Xiaoyu, your clothes. Tian Xiaoyu's face was filled with blush, and she wanted to find a crack in the ground to crawl in. Just grab the clothes, step back, and close the door when you step back into the bathroom. But at this moment, his feet staggered. Call. Tian Xiaoyu screamed and fell heavily to the ground. Chen Dong had already turned his head and was about to leave, but when he heard the shout from behind, he immediately turned his head. Seeing Tian Xiaoyu fall, he quickly ran in and helped her up. Xiaoyu, are you okay? Not if you fall in the bathroom, you may die. However, fortunately, Tian Xiaoyu has also been upgraded many times, and his physical fitness is not what it used to be. To her, it's not dangerous. Tian Xiaoyu shook his head. I'm fine. But she found that Chen Dong did not speak immediately. Tian Xiaoyu lowered his head stiffly. His bath towel slipped off due to the large movement just now. She forgot to take her clothes into the bathroom. After discovering it, I didn't think too much. I simply tied a knot in the towel and walked outside to get my clothes. Unexpectedly, there were so many surprises. Chen Dong finally understood why Tian Xiaoyu was the school beauty. Adjectives such as skin whiter than snow, ice skin, and jade bones are not enough to express 1/10,000th of it. Tian Xiaoyu's mind was also blank. After waiting for a few seconds, he quickly pulled up the towel in front of himself. Chen Dong rubbed his nose, wiped his face again, and finally spoke. Xiaoyu, let me help you go out and sit down. The ground is cold. Tian Xiaoyu looked a little resentful and whispered, you go out first, I have to get dressed. Ahaha, good. Upon hearing this, Chen Dong immediately stood up and slipped out quickly. The two of them tacitly did not mention this matter afterwards, treating it as each other's secret. Therefore, watching Xia Anqi and Tian Xiaoyu's fight at this time, Chen Dong really had no choice but to think about it. I could only stand up and say, I'll go to the roof to water the vegetables. Then, leave quickly. After watering the fruits and vegetables, I finally calmed down. I thought about the concrete thing again, and all the charm disappeared in my heart. One end is watering the other end, and the other end is talking to itself, as if talking to the fruits and vegetables. If you can't upgrade the intermediate underground fortress, you can only leave the vegetables here. Chen Dong shook his head, walked to the pavilion on the rooftop terrace, sat on a stone bench, and checked today's unlimited supplies. Unlimited diesel. Yeah, not bad. An armored vehicle was seized from Dongxing before, but because there was no diesel, it had to remain idle. Now, this problem has finally been solved. It can be considered a powerful force. Next, Chen Dong checked the chat channel to find if there were any sellers selling concrete. Number 763468. It seems that a lot of people are buying concrete recently. Number 672345. They are all taken away by some big teams. Upgrading the intermediate underground fortress requires 5,000 copies of concrete. Can you not go crazy and collect the goods? I even sold some concrete and made a small profit. Number 845645, that's great. Our team almost spent all our savings to build this underground fortress, let alone an intermediate underground fortress. It's too far away from us. Number 845232, our team has a lot of concrete, but we just don't know who to buy it from. The police station, drug lords and other teams don't need it anymore. It's difficult to do, and it's useless in bad hands. Our team's underground fortress hasn't even been built yet. Number 763466, damn it, is it so pitiful? There is concrete but no alloy. What a dramatic thing. Number 325534, brother, no matter how hard you look for a buyer, someone will still buy it. If it doesn't work out, just take the supplies and join the big team and survive. In the chat channel, many people expressed pity for the team that had a lot of concrete but no alloy to build an underground fortress. There are also many people who are gloating about the misfortune, number 674645, if you can't sell the concrete, just keep it for your own coffin. It's so strong, Number 623465, it's a threshold to go to a big team. Their team can't even get enough alloy to build an underground fortress. Do you think a big team will want such trash? Don't make me laugh, okay? Number 10086, buy a lot of concrete, ask for a price, private chat. Chen Dong sent a message. It was not easy to meet a team that had a lot of concrete in hand and couldn't find a market, so he naturally wanted to give it a try. Afterwards, he closed the chat channel and waited for the other party to private chat with him, but after a long time, there was no movement. Chen Dong couldn't help but doubt his judgment. Are they really not that short of supplies? Otherwise, why did they say it for so long without any action? Shouldn't they be impatient to private chat with him? Ding! Chen Dong smiled, knowing that he had made the right bet.